Hello. Hello. Well, hello, and welcome back to my channel. You're listening to the Tequila Hour. My name's Amanda. I'm your host. And let's get into it. So, a couple of things to start with. Number one. Not only am I recording this again via audio, but I'm also recording this visually as well. So, and I'll talk about that in a second as to the reasons why. 2B. There is something I want to talk about today, and it is quite a heavy subject, and, buckle your seatbelts, get into it, let's go. See, I am wearing, just in case, if you are listening to this via audio, you have no idea in reference to the lipstick I'm wearing today, but today I'm wearing Dior, and I just did a quick Google search. I could not even find the name, or looking at the lipstick, I can't even find the name, what it's called, but if you're watching this via YouTube, because I'm going to talk about that in a second, and I'm going to just hold it up like the YouTuber that I am. It is Dior, and it's a shade of purple blue, but mainly blue. I don't know the name. It's very old. I don't care. Yep. I'm feeling it. I'm loving it. I'm digging it. Let's go. So, hello. Welcome to my podcast, and welcome to the Tequila Hour. And I'm going to start by saying that, one, I am a little bit under the weather. Unfortunately, I assume that because I'm not a doctor, maybe I should be. No, I'm not. I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you right now that I'm pretty sure that I have a sinus infection. I can't even speak. I have a sinus infection. Shit. A sinus infection, and it is messing up. It's probably a simple word. Messing up the reason for my audio sounding a bit whack. I don't know who I am. Is that the fact that I have some sort of sinus infection, so I may or may not sound weird. I'm listening to this via my headphones and I sound weird, so please excuse me if it sounds like I'm dribbling or that I can't understand what the fuck I'm saying. It's because I can't hear what I'm saying because I have a sinus infection. B. I am recording this video via audio and visual as well because, let's get into it straight away. I watched a video today about YouTube because I love. If you have listened to any of my podcasts, hi, Amanda, the Tequila Hour, let's go. I love YouTube, okay? And I watched a video this morning, about YouTube podcasts and the fact that YouTube is now aligning not only to like your shorts and your long-term videos, etc. Excuse me. But it's also creating a new section, genre, area, whatever you want to call it. YouTube podcasts. Yes. I love it. It is the two. Like, if I want to talk about the fact that I have a podcast and I want to talk about the fact that I love YouTube, it is marrying two platforms that I absolutely love and can't wait to share with you all my thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything, all of the above. It might be shit, it might be crap, it might be awesome, but YouTube, podcast, together, marriage, love it, let's go. So, like I said, not only am I recording this live via, I'm recording this in an actual recording, platform, but I'm also recording this via audio and visual as well. So, mate, it's just happening. I'm excited. For anyone who loves YouTube and loves podcasts, mate, how can you not be excited about this? So, on YouTube, I have my own channel, which is _1_Amanda. I also have the Tequila Hour, the podcast channel. Now, may I say I'm going to tidy that up a little bit. May or may not, change the branding and what that looks like. But I'm telling you right now, I'm fucking excited about it. I'm excited about the fact that YouTube and podcast are together, making babies. I love it. I'm really excited about it. So I'm sure anyone who is a content creator, anyone who loves doing podcasts or has a podcast existing, and you want to join YouTube, or that's something that you're on already, or you've thought about, let's, marry the two together, mate, let's go. It's really exciting. I love, look, I'll just go back a couple of steps. If you are someone who may or may not know me as a content creator, I fucking love YouTube, all right? I love it. I love Google. I'm in a cult. It's called Google. I'm down for it, but I love YouTube. It's a platform I absolutely thoroughly enjoy. Also, I love doing podcasts. And the fact that you have podcasts and YouTube together, it's amazing. And the fact that now right now I'm in my, safe space. I'm in Australia. I'm in New South Wales. I'm in a secret location. You don't know where. You may or may not guess. You may or may not want to guess. But I am loving it, okay? I am excited. It brings me joy. I'm all for it. So let's go. That's what I say. It is the spark that has brought me absolute, fire up my ass. I'm going to say it. A fire up my ass to let's go and talk about, well, obviously I'm on podcast, but what I'm saying to you right now is not only can I have my podcast streaming on all the platforms that I upload to via Buzzsprout, shout out Buzzsprout, but I also now can bring the one platform that I absolutely adore and love, YouTube, together with my podcast, Marriage Made in Heaven. So, mate, I'm excited. Let's go. All right, let's... I'm not going to bore you with the bullshit of my life. I could bore you with YouTube. I could bore you with my podcast, but I'm not going to. I'm going to talk about the subject of the day. I'm going to have a sip of my drink and, okay, let's get into the nitty gritty. All right. On YouTube, you're going to see the complete unedited version of my podcast. When it becomes not real, but becomes into fruition on YouTube, you will see the unedited version of this podcast. I love that. Kind of scary. You are going to see me visually and via audio. You'll hear me, you'll see me with my beautiful Dior lipstick on. It's raw, it's real. Fucking love it. Okay, I do. I fucking love it. To my platforms that I upload to via Buzzsprout. Thank you, Buzzsprout. My number one favorite platform, Spotify. Obviously, you will hear an edited version of this entire podcast. I love it. As a content creator and someone who loves to create via this platform, this is amazing to me. I love it. So, for anyone who's watching this via YouTube, hey, let's go. It's really cool. Anyone who's listening to this via Spotify, Apple, or the other platforms, hey. And I don't know, if you are someone who just listens to podcasts via Spotify, guess what? You can now listen to podcasts via YouTube Music. Fucking love it. Drop the mic, make a noise. I'm loving it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to yeah. Fucking applause. Yeah, I love it. And the fact that I'm 50 years of age and, I have the opportunity and I know whatever I could go into it, but the opportunity to have this in my life and just do this and create and talk about stuff that I want to talk about, unfiltered, raw, real, bullshit, no bullshit, all the rest of it, all of the above, mate. I fucking love it. So, let's get into it. The subject of the day, because you're probably like, what the fuck are you talking about, Amanda? Today, I want to talk about the subject of when is enough? And you're like, Amanda, what are you talking about? What do you mean enough is enough? And look, I want to go back a couple of steps. I'm going to have a sip of my drink. Today, it is the tequila hour, but I'm actually drinking vodka. Weird, I know. Yes, this vodka was given to me as a present, and I'm like, I'm going to fucking drink it. So, there's that, and let's get into it. Going back to what I was saying, I recently, as in yesterday, because like I said, I love YouTube. I love watching YouTube. I have channels that I subscribe to. I can't get enough. I'm addicted. Yada yada. I have started watching from yesterday a channel. Now the channel is called The Diary of a CEO. The gentleman's name is Steve. I don't know a lot about him because I'm just starting to get into it. But the first video that I watched on his channel, The Diary of a CEO, was from Macy Williams. Now, you may or may not know that name. It might sound familiar to you, but Macy Williams was the actor that played what's her name? Who was in the Game of Thrones, who basically, like, from the age of 11 or 12, she was you know, a major actor in that series. And really was the biggest TV show in the entire world for a period of time. Everyone was addicted. And I'm talking about looking at the video here in front of me, nearly 2 hours of her talking about her life, talking about who she is, talking about not just Game of Thrones, but just having a conversation, really. And for me, I'm talking about it today because I could have been looking in a mirror. And for anyone who, likes YouTube or doesn't like YouTube or whatever, just take, I don't know, it doesn't take that much, but take some time in your day, take some time in your day to watch this video. It's called Macy Williams, The Painful Past of the Game of Thrones Star, episode 181. The channel is The Diary of a CEO. I'm going to go into that at a later date, as into that channel and who that person is, but I'm going to tell you right now, when I watched her video and the conversation that she had with Steve, who is, the moderator, if you want to call it that, but the person whose podcast it is, and, she's the guest, I could have been looking in a fucking mirror, and, I'm not, my life in no way, shape or form is aligned with Macy Williams. But what I can say to you is some of the things that she discussed resonated with me, resonated deeply with me, and it also brings up for me a really important subject that's been on my mind. And the subject of the today, I'm getting to it. Okay, just hold on. The subject of today is, when is enough enough? And I say that because I have been feeling in my life lately, when is enough fucking enough? When are you good enough? When you feel you're busting your ass, may it be in your life, may it be at work, may it be in your relationship or relationships, may it be all of the above. When is enough enough? So I want to talk about quickly this interview that was with Steve, the Diary of a CEO, and Macy Williams. If you have the chance or inclined to watch something and you don't, if you are someone who wants to take the time to really explore where they're at in their life emotionally, their emotions, their feelings, their thoughts. If you're someone who gives a shit about your feelings and thoughts and how you relate to other people, I highly recommend watching this podcast that's on YouTube. Macy Williams, the actor, she is very honest. She is very raw in how she talks about her life. Does she give you the full picture of what happened in her life? No. Does she need to? No. But you can fill the dots together and come to a conclusion that she's had a shit childhood, and luckily for her, she's found an outlet, which is acting. And you can see when she talks about that how much joy it brings her. And for me, in my life, let's just try and bring it back if we can. I watched this, I was enthralled, and I want to talk about it today because I want to talk about the subject, when is enough enough? And I know I want to talk about this in relation to work. For me, most people will relate this to their life, which relates to their work. It may be something that, it just relates to your life in general. If you're a content creator, perhaps. But for me, it relates to my life in general and it relates to my work. So let's get into it. I really watched this, and like I said, it could have been me looking in a mirror. Macy Williams and I, completely different life. I'm laughing because, it's quite, funny. But our lives are completely different, okay? I'm not an actor. I don't pretend to be. She's an actor. She's young. I'm 50. She's 25, I think she is. Complete polar opposites. But what we have in common is a lot of the things that she talked about in this fucking podcast. So that's why I want to talk about it today, because when is enough enough? And I know I've touched on this before, where I've talked about when people give you feedback, okay, in your life. Let's be honest, most people aren't giving you feedback in your life. I'm just going to have a sip of my drink because I need one. Most people aren't giving you feedback in your everyday life. They're not saying, guess what? Amanda, you're full o' shito. People don't talk like, okay, I digress. People in my life don't talk like that. I don't have many people in my life who I have these type of discussions. This podcast is a platform for me to have this type of discussion. I have people I talk to. Sounds terrible. I have people I confide in and I talk to. I don't talk about this kind of shit. Okay? When I'm talking about enough is enough, I'm talking about, for me, in reference to work. For you, it could be your marriage. It could be your children. It could be work. It could be all of the above. I just want to talk about this because after watching that video, which really, for some reason, resonated with me and really touched me, and for some reason made me think, fuck, like, wow, we're complete. This person, I don't know this person in real life. I don't, and I never will know Macy Williams in real life, or Steve, the guy, the Diary of a CEO, in real life. I may or may not do a podcast with him one day. Do I even go there? But what I'm saying is that I really thought, fuck, I'm listening to this and it could be me speaking to myself in a mirror. And there's things that have happened lately in my life that I've gone, when is enough enough? And I suppose I want to talk about it because I don't know. I don't know if you have these conversations with yourself or you're that enlightened or you give a shit or you don't give a shit. But for me, I do give a shit. Okay? I really do. And look, am I consciously always working on myself and want to mentally better myself and I don't know, like have a greater understanding of myself? Yes. And that was the car. Weird. Um, is there a reason for that? I don't know. It could be that I've been through some shit in my life and I've gone, fuck, I really need to like take the time to like really go deep and have a greater understanding for what is and what isn't. For me, it is something that I'm truly interested in. It's something that I want to share with people. I want to have a conversation about. I want to talk to people who are like-minded like that, who just don't have surface conversations. I want to have deep, dark, in there, digging, painful. I don't want to, but I want to. And for me, you don't have those conversations day to day. So for me, like I've talked about in the past, this podcast, may it be, a place where I talk about frivolous things like my favorite condiment. May it be a place where I just talk about something that I'm watching on TV and that I'm enjoying. It is also a place for me where I will talk about shit that is dark. I say dark, it's not even dark. I'm talking about shit that really affects me, stuff that I don't talk about in general day-to-day conversations with people, stuff that I want to talk about, stuff that I want feedback on, stuff that I really would love your opinion on. So, when is enough enough? And I say that because I know in my life, I'm going to give you an example. And this may or may not mean anything to you, but it means something to me. The other day, I had a conversation and a person gave me a compliment. Or you could see, I'm already surmising that it wasn't a compliment, so that says a lot. But this person was giving me feedback and they were saying to me, you're doing a really good job, and a lot of people are saying you're doing a good job. And like, I'm struggling to even say that to you right now. And why does that right now in this moment at I'm in Australia, it's the 19th of March, it's 3:56. Why is that so fucking hard for me to acknowledge that someone said you're doing a really good job? And I'm telling you right now, when that person said that to me, I didn't even hear it. I heard it and it didn't even acknowledge in my brain that they were saying, look, you've done a good job, or people are saying you're doing a good job, yada yada. And what I'm trying to get at is, where does that wall of not listening and not accepting or not acknowledging that comes from? And when you are someone who has dealt with a lot of trauma in their life, I'm pretty sure that a lot of it for me comes from the fact that and I've talked about this briefly, I've had a very shitty childhood. I really did. And I was going to say, luckily I was saved. Yes, to some point I was, but I had a shitty childhood. And why can't I let go of it? And I can't. And you don't. And when you've been damaged, sounds very dramatic. When you've been damaged that much or hurt that much, you don't, it is part of you. And you have to learn the coping skills to just get on with it. But there is times in your life that it comes up. And for me, this is something that comes up now because not only is it about being enough, talking about enough is enough, but it's also talking about the fact that you feel like you have to bust your fucking ass to be heard, to be recognized, to be accepted, to perhaps get love, if that's what you're looking for, and I'm assuming that's what I'm looking for, to even be acknowledged, to be heard, like I said. This is why people like me, and I'm not the only person, there's a shit ton of people who are in the same situation as me, and like right away, I'm like, well, guess what? There's a shit ton of people who just get on with it, and why are you talking about it, and why do you think it's even that important, and why, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Because I'm going to be straight up with you. In my fucking life, we are not having these conversations. It is taking me... I'm sitting here in the secret location at 4 o'clock on the 19th of March having this fucking conversation on YouTube because I really want to have this conversation. We are not having these types of conversations. These are scary, difficult, awkward, uncomfortable conversations. I want to have these awkward, difficult, uncomfortable conversations. I'm getting passionate because I really feel like the more, and I think I just burped. The more times that we as human beings have these conversations on these platforms is more times that people get not only exposed to these conversations, but go, guess what? This is just real normal life, okay? We're all having these conversations, or may not be, but why aren't we? Or this should just be the normal thing, or don't feel like you're alienated because you feel this way, or don't feel like you're alone, or don't feel like you can't talk to someone about this. And like I said, this and many other reasons is the reason why I am pushing myself to have these conversations on a platform where people can watch me on YouTube, people can listen to me on Spotify, Apple, and all the rest of it. People can judge me, people can say whatever they want to say, but I'm trying to say to you, let's cut the bullshit. Let's have these conversations, because so many people get lost in their thoughts and their feelings and feel alone. You are not fucking alone. You are surrounded by people who often feel the same way as you do. I'm telling you that I'm very uncomfortable. I'm extremely uncomfortable right now. But I want to push myself because I want to be surrounded by people who have the same type of conversations. What that may or may not look like. So, let's talk about it. You're like, Amanda, you've been rambling, and I have. You'll be like, Amanda, you're drinking. I have. Amanda, you're wearing Dior blue lipstick. I am. Guess what? I don't give a fuck, all right? I've got to a point in my life. I'm there. I don't know if it's because I'm 50 or I am who I am or whatever, but I've got to a point in my life, I'm like, fuck it. Let's talk about it. If you are one of those people or peoples who listen to this podcast and go, you're a fucking idiot and you're drunk and you're rambling, maybe I am. But guess what? Maybe I'm not. And this gives me an opportunity to let me share me to you. Maybe, hopefully, it resonates with one person. And that's all I could ever want or wish for. And the fact that YouTube are now doing this, go! It even makes me even more excited, ramped up, fucking excited, passionate. Yeah, let's go. So, let's have a sip of a drink. I've got to talk about it. Let's go to Google. Now, Google, is Google the be all or end all of everything in society? Maybe. It's not. Guess what? Google isn't fucking God, okay? I'm going to say it. Google doesn't fucking know everything. But if you want to talk about shit, let's go to Google. Okay. So I'm going to talk about 7 signs to know when enough is enough. All right? I'm getting passionate. Let's go. How you know when enough is enough. Before we get into the when, I'd like to touch briefly on the how. In other words, when it is in fact enough, what should you do about it? Everyone's situation is different, but in my opinion, either 1, 2, or both of the following need to happen. The first is to walk away. It's hard to do, but sometimes you just have to cut the cord and move on. Whether that from a relationship, a job, or toxic friendship, I don't know, about to cry. If you relate to the signs that we will discuss in this article, then it may be time to go. The second is to do some internal work. And that's what I'm doing right now. Walking away is not always a solution. Sometimes your situation is your opportunity to become a better person if you want to do that. Maybe you need to be more patient. Maybe you need to learn new skills. Maybe you need to set boundaries and learn to stand up for yourself. We all need to do that, I'm telling you right now. Either one of these things must happen or both. This is my opinion. Now, we're talking about, this is off of a fucking website. I googled it. I googled the word or words, enough is enough. This is what came up, all right? I've lost my train of thought. Either one of these things must happen or both. This is my opinion. Everything is different and you have to do what is best for you. Let's talk about it. And you're right. You have to do what's best for you. What's best for you might be completely different what's best for me. But as someone who gives a shit about who they are, and how they project themselves to others, or their perspective of others, and how they coexist with others. This is important to me. Hopefully it's important to you. Number 1, you are constantly emotionally drained. We all have emotional stress sometimes. No shit, Sherlock. We might have a bad day at work or have a disagreement with our spouse that may elevate our stress and sour our mood. When this is constant, however, it may be time to say enough is enough. We are not meant to live in a state of stress, fear, depression, or hopelessness. It not only takes a toll on our happiness, but our health as well. People who deal with elevated states of emotion constantly suffer from more health issues. These include muscle fatigue, irritability, constant tiredness, headaches, and more. It's not healthy for you, both in mind and body, to keep dealing with emotions so much that it drains you every day. If you are emotionally drained more often than not, that is when you know enough is enough. That's a lot. That is drink worthy. How does that pertain to me, and how does that pertain to you? That's a lot. When do you know your, I was going to say your barriers, that's not the right word that I'm trying to get at. Where is your goalposts? Okay, I'm just picturing goalposts because I won't digress. What are your goalposts in emotion and knowing enough is enough? When are you comfortable in saying, I'm happy for this person to fucking use me, and go to yourself, well, I'm happy to be used, but now enough is enough. That sounds dramatic. What I'm trying to say is, everyone has a goalpost, okay? Everyone has or should know what those goalposts are. This is an opportunity for myself and for you to think about it. Let's go to number 2. You don't recognize yourself anymore. You hear countless complaints from my clients or others who say they don't know who they are anymore, or no longer feel like themselves. They give so much of themselves they lose touch with who they are. Oftentimes they hate who they have become because they have become bitter and resentful, and affects their relationships with co-workers, family, and others. Are you a different person in a negative way since you started your job or got into a relationship? Do you and say things that you never used to? Are you putting up with things that your past self would have put up with? If so, this is a sign that enough is enough. Something has to change, whether that be moving on or setting boundaries or do something now. Now, that last line is very interesting. Think about who you are. Think about who you want to be. I am someone who, as a deep person, who is very in touch with their feelings and emotions, often, very often, think about who they are, think about how I am perceived by others, how I am perceived by myself. Setting boundaries, huge. We all should take the time to think and consider what our personal boundaries are, setting them and sticking to them. It is something for me right now, at the age of 50, mind you, that I'm really thinking about. I'm thinking about my boundaries. I'm thinking about who I really am. I'm thinking about what I really want. Ruminate on that. I'm just kidding. Going to number 3. You know when enough is enough when you're really happy. That sounds very depressing, doesn't it? Let's go into it. We can't always be happy. It's true. But we should be more joyful than not. That's true as well. If you find that you're really happy, then enough may be enough. This is where many people get stuck in life. And that's true. We are raised to believe that happiness is only reserved for the lucky. That we're supposed to live a life without happiness because it's normal. That we're supposed to have continuous friction in our relationships, or that we're supposed to hate our jobs. We are supposed to put up with toxic family because they're blood. That's just life. Wrong. That's right. It's wrong. It's easy to say it's wrong, but it's actually right. Perhaps this is why you haven't made changes with what you were struggling with. Maybe you think in some way you are not supposed to be happy, or you do not deserve to be. You are supposed to be happy. It's okay to have joyful and fulfilling life, and yes, you deserve it. If happiness is something that has been out of reach for you, this is when you know enough is enough. Do whatever it takes to add more joy to your life. That's heavy. You're right. For me, this is something right now in my work life that I'm struggling with. There is something that brings me a lot of joy. It scares the shit out of me. It's challenging. It's all of the above. But at the same time, I feel like, is it enough? Am I giving enough? Am I enough? Can I do this? Am I supported? Am I needed? Is that okay not to be? These are questions that we may or may not think about. I think about all the fucking time. And for a lot of you who may or may not listen to this podcast or watch this podcast, you may be like, Amanda, I don't give a fuck. Guess what? I do. And these are things I think about. And like I said, I want to be surrounded by people who think like this, or even have thoughts maybe like this. And let's talk about it. Number 4. Let's move on. You make excuses or take blame for others. Interesting title. If you constantly make excuses for someone else's bad behavior, or feel you are to blame for others' bad actions, then enough is enough. Everyone is responsible for their own actions and behaviors. Pay attention to what you tell others and yourself about the people and situations in your life. Do you say things like, well, he didn't mean it, or I pushed him to what he said, or do you think to yourself or others, I know I'm taking advantage of at work, but it pays the bills, or I know she puts me down, but she's family. If you constantly put things back on yourself, enough is enough. Wow. But where is this in reference to, and what I'm trying to get at? For someone who has dealt with, I don't know, abandonment issues, that's probably, it all comes back to that basically. When is enough enough? And where is that point where you go, I am feeling like I'm taking advantage of at work? And for me, I feel like I am being taken advantage of, but that's my perception. And it really is about feeling comfortable in your own place and what that looks like, and your everyday and what you do and yada yada yada. It's different for everybody, but for me right now, I am at that point where I feel like, am I being taken advantage of? And I think that's more to do with me, not them. And I think it's more to do with the fact that right away in my mind, have I allowed that to happen? And I probably have. But in saying that, I also know that if I want to make a change, I do have the power to do that. So there comes a point in your life when you go, I know, this potato, I know, my scenarios are weird. This potato is serving me well. I am fulfilled by this potato. Could this potato be tastier? Yes. Could this potato give me more? Yes. But right now, this potato could do better, but it's probably enough. Where is that point where you go, this potato is shit, this potato is off, and I need to eat carrot? I don't know. Think about it, ruminate, let's go. Number 5, you are not respected. It may be time to say enough is enough when you are not respected. In any type of relationship, whether it be a colleague, at work, or a family member, or especially in a relationship, respect is crucial. A clear sign that you're not respected is if your boundaries are constantly being crossed. Another sign is if your concerns and feelings are not being taken into consideration. If not, it might be time to say enough is enough. This, mate, preach, sister. And the problem with this is just one fucking article, and if you read into it, you get sucked in, you go, yep, this aligns with everything that I'm feeling because I want it to align. Or is it because somehow the universe is saying this is what is really going on, you need to look at it? Or is it because you're reading into something that's not really what it is? This is a hard one. I'm going to tell you right now, there are many times, me personally, and this is me, and I don't care how you read into it or not, I don't feel respected. I don't. I respect other people. I don't feel respected. Are my morals too high? Maybe. Do I care too much? Yes. Do I read into things? Yes. Most definitely yes. But on a simple, basic, do I feel respected? I'm saying this out loud. Kind of. There are times when I have conversations with people and I do feel respected and I do feel heard. I feel acknowledged. People hear me. There are times as well that I talk. People hear me. They say something and I walk away and I feel disrespected. Now, I'm assuming, or not even assuming, most people in their fucking life feel this way. May that be in their life with their husband or partner. May that be with their family. May that be with work. May that be with their best friend. I have to be saying to myself, to justify maybe, that most people don't feel 100% respected by who those people they care about. And is that okay? Do you know what I mean? Is that okay? Is it? I don't know. Number 6, your goals are out of alignment. Your current goals with your partner, job, friendships are out of alignment. If so, it may be time to say enough is enough. We all need help with we need all the help we can to get moving towards our goals. If there are people or situations in our life that either do not support our goals or they aren't moving forward in the same direction as you, it may be time to move on. Number 7, listen to the universe to know when enough is enough. Now, this is a big one. This might sound out there, and it is, to some, but it's not so far-fetched as you may think. Have you felt that something higher than yourself is telling you something? Question mark. Some people call it intuition, but for me, I like to think the universe is giving me guidance. There are many times in my life when it seemed I was trying to get through a brick wall to accomplish something, or a door of opportunity was shut in my face. When things like that happen, I feel disappointed, but in time it always becomes clear that those events were best for me. Do not ignore your gut or messages being sent to you. Sit quietly every day to reflect and listen. Pay attention to things that seem out of the ordinary. Normally, those subtle, like recurring numbers or gut feeling. Do not be afraid to ask either. When I'm struggling for something, I literally ask the universe, what should I do? Then I meditate, sit quietly, or be on the lookout for an answer. It usually comes within a day or two. Give it a try. In conclusion, know when enough is enough by watching these signs. If you are constantly drained emotionally, do not recognize yourself or feel like yourself anymore, then it may be time to move on. If you are rarely happy, you make excuses for others, are not respected, out of alignment, or think your intuition or the universe is telling you something, change may be needed. Now, great, interesting, love it. Sounds awesome. In reality, fucking hard. it's not easy to really take the time to reflect. Like, honestly, I'm talking honestly right now. Just touched the microphone, by the way. To honestly reflect, to really I'm closing my eyes when I'm saying this. To really honestly reflect inward and to say to yourself, enough is enough in the circumstance that you're questioning or referring to. Because more often than not, the thing that you're saying enough is enough is a thing that provides you with your life, that keeps your life going. May it be your job, may it be your husband, may it be your children, may it be all of that I'm saying. You can't just say, well, you can. You can't just say, okay, I'm saying this right now. Oh, now I'm questioning. Let's just say you have children, all right? And you say, I'm fucking over it. For whatever reason, I'm over it. I'm over these children now. I'm going to tell you right now, people do not talk this way. People don't say, or people I know, okay, because I'm being very general. People I know don't say to me or in conversation, realistically, guess what? My child is a fucking idiot. I'm fucking over my child. I fucking hope they go away to an island and, I don't know, they live there and they grow up and I meet them when they're 25. They don't talk about conversations like that. They might have their frustrations about their children. They might say for a split second they hate them, which they don't. They might say, I don't know, they wish they weren't, I was going to say, I won't go there. Look, what I'm trying to get at is most people might have this inner monologue, but they're not saying it out loud. They're not saying it to their friends. In reality, they're not saying it to their partners. In reality, they're not saying it to people they just random know. For me, where am I now talking about? Where am I at? I suppose what I'm trying to get at. For me, I'm at a place where, and I've always been a place where I constantly check myself. I constantly think about other people, probably before myself. I'm constantly questioning myself. I'm constantly questioning others' motivations, others' feelings, thoughts, everything. And I'm kind of like at a point now where I'm kind of like, when is enough enough? And you get to a point in your life when you just like, I call bullshit. I'm calling bullshit. And the problem is, when you finally have the fucking guts to say, I call bullshit, nothing happens. That's the thing. You can have a conversation with someone and you go, guess what? I call bullshit. And then they keep talking and nothing. There's no consequence to that. There's nothing. You've just finally allowed yourself to have that thought and verbalize that thought, and nothing fucking happens. Where do you go from that? And it's kind of like now I'm like at the point where you go, yep, I'm out. I am out. I'm done. I've had enough. I really, honestly, are having those thoughts with myself, and it is difficult, and it is scary, and I don't know where this is going. But I really wanted to touch on this subject today because I'm pretty 100%, I'm going to go at 100% sure that there's many people out there who've had these thoughts and feelings, might be going through this shit right now, or may go through this shit in the future. So, am I the be all and end all on this subject? No. Am I your guiding light in this subject? Probably not. What I am is a person like you. If you take the opportunity to listen to this podcast, if this is something that interests you, if this is something that perhaps you thought about, this is something that you may think about in the future, I'd really, really love your feedback on this one, because for me, I'm really at a point now where I go, what's that point? Where do you, where's that wall? The wall's there, or, the barrier's there or whatever. Made that, it's all mental I'm talking about. It's not a physical wall, you fools. Where is that point where you go, enough's enough? And where's that point where you go, I'm really uncomfortable, I'm scared, and I have to change? So I'd love to know. I'd love to get your feedback on this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. And I'm going to leave it there today. So this has been a very interesting podcast. I'm going to listen back to it now because it could be quite stupid. I don't know. But what I would like to say to you is, if you are listening to this podcast, I'd love to hear from you. As always, my email address is info@thetequilahour.com.au. Like I said, I'm truly excited about the fact, as I'm recording this, that YouTube now has YouTube podcasts, or it's coming out. So if you happen to watch this podcast live, you're probably like, that was fucked. You look weird with your blue to your lipstick, and I'm afraid I don't give a fuck. If you like what I'm putting down, subscribe. If you don't like what I'm putting down or hearing or listening to, then don't listen to it. Okay? It's as simple as that. If you do have an opinion on what I have to say, of what I've said today, I would love to hear your feedback. Reach out to me. I do use IG. I do have a YouTube channel, the_1_Amanda. I also have my other YouTube channel, which is the Tequila Hour, the podcast. I will be looking at that because I really want to give a shot at doing this online. I am absolutely 100% passionate about doing this. This is a chance, and anyone who happens to listen to this is your opportunity to step outside your comfort zone and fucking go for it. And that's what I'm doing today. That's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. If you enjoy what I have to say, let's go. So my name's Amanda. You've been listening to the Tequila Hour, and I will catch you on the next one. See you then. Bye.
On him, now you can't come see me tonight. Say you ain't got the time. I'm the last one you prioritize.